Okay. And we'll just give ourselves a minute to kind of arrive energetically in space. You can close your eyes if you want to, just directing your focus inward. And I like to start my classes just by kind of reminding everyone that they are experts, y'all are experts of your own experience, especially in this kind of virtual space. I don't have eyes on you, so I kind of like to offer that you take control over your own kind of practice, and you be the gauge for kind of where you're at in your body. So taking a moment to kind of rest or find a more restorative position, like child's pose is always an option throughout practice. That's always available to you, and I really do encourage you to take that if you need it. And with that being said, there's also a lot of value in staying in places that are a little less comfortable. So in class today, I'd invite you to get a little curious about kind of discerning between places that are uncomfortable in the body and places where there's actual pain in the body. And if there's something that's starting to feel, or you're sensing is feeling a little bit more like discomfort, you can invite a little bit of curiosity around that discomfort. And my proposal today is that through that curiosity, we might find ways to yield to that discomfort. So finding ease by letting maybe just a little bit of tension go out of the body. So as opposed to completely bailing and maybe finding a totally different position to be in, seeing if we can kind of expand our ability to sit with discomfort and find a little bit more ease through this practice of letting go. And just begin to focus your attention on your breath. Allowing your breath to carry your awareness to the distal ends of your body, right? The far edges of your body. And on your exhale, letting the breath carry your focus back to the core, the center of the body. Just noticing the movement that is present in your body as you inhale, right? This expansion out into space as you take in the air that surrounds you. And then the way that the body gets smaller as you exhale and empty that air out of the body. Go ahead and flutter the eyes open. We'll just start by kind of waking up the soles of the feet. So you can sit with the legs crossed. You can sit with one leg bent, but you'll start on the left side. So just take the left foot into your hands and start to trace the midline of your foot with your fingers. So I'm using my thumbs to kind of palpate the underside of my foot. Right, so going from heel to toe, kind of dragging the thumbs along the midline, and then starting to kind of massage the flesh of the feet towards the lateral edges, right, towards the sides of the foot. So we're kind of spreading, we're pushing the sole of the foot from the heel to the toe and then spreading it out to the edges. Okay, and just notice the structure of your body as you're doing this. You really digging in with your whole body, can you maybe back off a little bit and just start to focus on, you know, the effort that's exerted by the fingers and the hands. You notice how fast you're going. See if you can slow it down a little bit. It might be nice to kind of use the knuckles if the fingers start to fatigue, to bring a bit of pressure into the sole of the foot. And just follow your intuition of what feels good here. You can also start to spread the top of the foot, so using the fingers wrapped around the foot to spread the top of the foot towards the outer edges. So we're working with the skin, right? This kind of large organ of the body that is our most direct relationship to the nervous system. So we're giving the foot sensory input. And by doing so, we're kind of helping prime the nervous system, kind of awaken through this physical touch the foot. You can stick your fingers in between your toes, create a little bit of space in between the toes, and then maybe draw kind of small circles with the right hand. So it's helpful to know where our foot is and where our foot isn't. So this kind of beginning warm up, bringing actual physical warmth into the foot, as well as the sensory input helps us kind of map in our brains the boundaries of the foot. Make sure you draw some circles in the opposite direction. And then just place the sole of the foot on the ground. You can bring a little bit of contact into the heel. And then go ahead and start to bring your fingers to the ridge that exists between the big toe and the second toe. There's a little bit of a valley there in between the bones of those two toes. And then go ahead and just trace that valley all the way up towards the ankle. Okay, and then we're going to apply a little bit of pressure and then just move back down in between that groove. And you'll just continue to trace that line going from ankle to toe. Okay, inviting a little bit of space in between the big toe and the second toe of the foot. You don't need to use a lot of pressure here. You're just starting to feel, right, this contact below the surface of the skin. See if you can really start to feel the inside of the foot. Just checking if you're breathing. Then you'll move on to the next kind of little valley that exists between the second toe and the third toe, just tracing it up towards the ankle and then applying a little bit of pressure and tracing it down towards the toe. Okay, so we're just beginning to differentiate between the toes of the foot. There might be some kind of crunching that you feel, or maybe even here. That's totally normal. We're encouraging kind of the blood and lymph system to get moving so that new nourishment can rush to this part of the body. And so we're using our hands, using our perception through this skin to start to kind of awaken ourselves to the structure of the foot. Okay, then moving on to the next toes. Again, tracing that valley up to the ankle and then applying a little bit of pressure and letting the fingers draw down the top of the foot. So our feet are super important. They connect us to the earth. We stand on them all day, unless we're sitting, but they're quite literally our clearest and most kind of profound connection to the earth. And moving on to the next, a little ridge between the pinky toe and the fourth toe. So it can be a really valuable practice to spend some time with the feet, waking them up and inviting a little bit of space, right, as we're doing into the foot, so that we can kind of have a clearer relationship to the ground that we stand on. And just take a couple of breaths to do any last things to the foot. You might want to kind of pull on the toes. And then just extend the legs out in front of you, tent the fingers behind you. Okay, just take a moment to close the eyes and see if you notice any difference between the sensations or feelings that you have in the left foot in comparison to the right. Okay, then we'll go ahead and work on the sole of the right foot. So again, just taking the foot into the hands and starting to trace the midline of the sole with the thumbs. Just noticing how you're holding the rest of your body. See if you can relax the rest of the body and just kind of concentrate this into the effort of the hands. Continuing to breathe full, deep breaths to kind of support this work, but also to support the circulation of the blood. And spreading the soles of the feet towards the outer edges. And then beginning to maybe bring that same action to the top of the foot. You're noticing maybe if there's any tender points, if you want to kind of stop and put a little bit of extra pressure to see if that congestion will spread out. Maybe if a point is a little too tender, just going somewhere kind of outside of it to not kind of press deep into inflammation, but getting into the peripheral stagnation that might surround it. You can bring the fingers in between the toes, creating a little bit of space between the toes, and then just drawing some circles with the ankle. And then reversing that direction. And just place the sole of the foot onto the floor. And then again, just finding that valley that exists between the big toe and the second toe. And tracing it up to the ankle, and then just applying a little bit of pressure and kind of brushing down the top of the foot. So we'll work with this idea of kind of this relationship between stability and mobility today. Okay, moving in between the second toe and the third toe. Tracing that valley and then just adding a little bit of pressure and massaging down towards the toe. So I love this practice because we're quite literally mobilizing the skin and kind of the liquid systems of the body. And by doing so, we're maybe becoming a little bit more aware of what the structure of the foot actually is. So there's this kind of deep relationship between mobility and stability in the body. The two rely on each other. Moving towards the space between the third toe and the fourth toe. And then over to the fifth toe and the fourth toe. I'm super tender towards the outer edge of my foot, so I'm going to use a little bit less pressure. And making sure to get the heel, if that is supportive for you. And then just taking a couple extra breaths to do anything else you want with the foot. Okay, then extend the legs out in front of you. Just tent the fingers behind you. And press down through the fingers to lift the chest up. So we're finding support in the low back. Just release your hips. Notice if you're kind of clenching in your hips, and you can just let the legs fall away from the midline. And just check in again, any kind of sensation or feeling that's left in the right foot. Go ahead and bend the knees. Just plant the soles of the feet onto the floor. Bring the hands behind the knees, and then just slowly start to roll down. You'll come to lay all the way down onto the floor. Okay, bring your block or a bigger book or your pillow if you're using it, and just place it in between the knees. Okay, the kind of flat side of the block will be parallel with the knees. And then you'll just squeeze onto whatever prop you have in between your legs. So you're bringing a little bit of activation into the inner thighs. Okay, just lift the arms overhead. So the backs of the arms are kind of relaxed and laying on the floor. And then go ahead and grab onto the knees. Just drop the thighs into the chest. Releasing the low back a little bit. And then you'll keep the knees into the hands, but hang the legs away from the torso. So the arms are straight, hands are on top of the knees, and the feet are kind of heavy hanging down towards the floor. Okay, and then just start to press the sacrum down into the floor. So hug the low belly into the spine. We're starting to turn on the transverse abdominis, so this kind of lower ab that expands from the hip points right across the low belly. And pressing down into the sacrum, really trying to pacify the hip flexors. So the fronts of the hips aren't gripping. We're just starting to kind of turn on the low belly and activate the pelvis through that abdominal muscle. Okay, and then create a little bit of space between the low back and the floor. So kind of soften the low belly and let the tailbone reach down towards the floor. So we're coming into lumbar extension here. Okay, then again, draw the belly in towards the spine. Start to press down through the sacrum. Notice how your pelvis is shifting. Right? Keep letting the knees hang into the arms. This is moving kind of towards a cat position. And then find that lumbar extension. So the tailbone starts to dial down towards the floor, right? You might find it kind of deepening into the hip creases, Okay, and then last time, again, pull the belly in towards the spine. Start to kind of find that transverse abdominis. Okay, and then you'll just drop the feet down towards the floor. And then again, lift the arms overhead back so the arms will just relax onto the floor. Okay, just walk the feet in so they're fairly close to the pelvis. And then we'll take a diaphragm stretch here. So take a deep inhale through the nose. Press down through the soles of the feet and use that action of the feet pressing down into the mat to lift the pelvis up towards the ceiling. Okay, exhale all the air out of your lungs. We're going to expand this, kind of extend this exhale. Keep exhaling all the air out until you feel like you have no more air left in your body. And then keep exhaling even after that. Okay, inhale, just roll down through the spine, letting the pelvis land onto the mat. And then again, exhale, press the soles of the feet down into the floor to lift the pelvis up. Keep exhaling all the air out of the body. Release any tension you're holding in your shoulders and your neck. Keep exhaling, keep exhaling, keep exhaling. And then inhale, you'll slowly roll down through the spine, letting the pelvis land. That'll be the last thing to make contact. Okay, last time like that. Inhale, exhale, press the soles of the feet down into the floor, start to lift the pelvis up. Keep exhaling, exhaling, exhaling all the air out of the body. And then on your inhale, you'll just lower the spine. Sacrum will be the last thing to land. Okay, take a deep inhale. Reach the fingers back behind you and then hook the thumbs overhead. On your exhale, you'll start to engage the low abs, draw the belly into the spine, reach the fingers overhead. You're gonna roll all the way up, chin comes to chest. On your inhale, you'll sit high onto the sits bones, reaching the fingers overhead. Okay, exhale, start to curl back into your C curve, reach the fingers forward, chin drops towards the chest, press down through the soles of the feet to lay all the way down. On your inhale, the hands will come back behind you to make contact with the floor. Okay, exhale, reach the fingers overhead again, chin to chest, start to reach the fingers forward, press down through the feet to sit all the way up on your inhale. And then exhale, C curve, start to shift back, reach the fingers forward, chin drops towards the chest, hug the belly into the spine to slow your descent down to the floor. Inhale the arms overhead. And then exhale, press the belly into the spine, sacrum into the floor, reach the fingers overhead, start to roll up, inhale to sit all the way up onto the sits bones. Okay, just take the prop out towards the side of the mat. And then bring your hands behind you, stack your right ankle over the left knee. Okay, we'll take a figure 4 here. So the closer your left foot is to your pelvis, the kind of deeper this hip opener is. And then just start to press the hands down into the mat to reach the chest forward. So we're finding extension in the spine rather than kind of curling back. And then start to just shift the hips, shift the legs rather from side to side. And we're just starting to lubricate the hips, creating a little bit of movement here. So we're finding mobility in this stretch, again, to encourage the blood flow into the joints. Keep breathing. Okay, then just cross the legs. We'll just sit with the right shin in front of the left. And then bring your hands towards the sides of the ribs. So the thumbs will wrap around the back and the fingers will wrap around the front. And we're just gonna do a little bit of a breath assessment, some nervous system work here. Okay, notice where you're sitting. If you're kind of pushing the ribs forward, see if you can shift your weight back a little bit so that you're really feeling the sits bones, or these bones at the bottom of the pelvis plug down into the floor. And then as you find that plugging of the sit bone down, see if you can release the hips any amount. If this is like way too crazy for your hips right now, just fold your blanket or your towel in half and get a little bit of elevation. You can also sit on a block, or you can sit on a book or something, just so that your hips aren't grabbing on so much. Okay, and then close your eyes and take a deep inhale. See if you can expand the ribs into the hands. So we're finding this 3-dimensional breath. And then just letting the ribs kind of gently corset together on the exhale. Okay, take a couple rounds like that. Just really seeing if you can expand 3-dimensionally in every direction. So front ribs expand forward into the sides. The back ribs expand back into the sides. Reaching the crown of the head up to find a really tall and long spine. And just start to notice if there's kind of one place in the ribs that feels a little bit stagnant. So maybe there's one part of the ribs that's not expanding as much as the other. For me, it's the left back rib. Right where my kidney is, like I hardly have any movement there at all. Okay, and then this next exercise, we'll kind of use that place of stagnancy as a guide. So I have my stagnancy on the left, which means I'm going to use my right hand on the right half of my face. So whichever side you have your stagnancy on, you'll use the opposite hand on the opposite side of the face. Okay, so press that palm into your jaw and then resist that action by pressing your jaw into the palm. Okay, so I'm pressing my right palm into my right jaw for my left back side rib. And then you'll take your other thumb, so for me it's my left, And you'll put your thumb kind of in the top left corner or high top corner of whichever hand you're using. Keeping your head exactly where it is, you'll just turn your eyes inside your skull to look at your thumb. And it shouldn't be so far that you're like really straining your eye muscles to get there. So kind of find that sweet spot for you where you can feel a little bit of a pull on your eyes. It's not super easy, but you're not overly stressing the eye muscles. Okay, then we're gonna do a smooth pursuit. So we'll trace a diagonal down into the center with the thumb, keeping our eyes targeted, kind of glued to that thumb. Then the eyes will stay where they are. Replace the thumb at the top high corner of your space, and then look at the thumb again. Okay, keeping the eyes glued on the thumb, drag the thumb down and in on a diagonal. Okay, keep the eyes there, replace the thumb. We'll do that 3 more times, dragging the thumb down and in. Keep the eyes there, replace the thumb. Look to the thumb, dragging the eyes down and in. Keep pressing the jaw into the hand into the jaw. Last time, dragging the thumb down and in. Okay, then just assess your breathing again. Bring your hands to wrap around your ribs. Close your eyes. Deep inhale. See if you can find that 3-dimensional breath. And just notice if that place of stagnancy has shifted at all for you. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. Okay, then just flutter the eyes open, hook the thumbs, right thumb on top, reach the fingers overhead. And then use this hooking of the thumb to find a little bit of kind of tension between the arms. So pulling the arms apart. They won't move apart though, right? Because the thumbs are hooked. Reach the fingers overhead. See if you can find very long and straight arms by pulling the thumbs apart. And then see if you can let the pelvis descend, drop down even more into the earth. Okay, moving into the back body. So letting the back body spread, the front of the ribs soften into the back of the body, creating a ton of space here for the breath. So see if you can find that 3-dimensional breath again. And then you'll just slowly twist from the ribs. Let the pelvis stay super stable and quiet here towards the right corner of the room. And then just release the hands. Fingers will come down towards the floor. And then gaze over the right shoulder. See if that tracking of the eyes allows you to deepen into that twist. You're going to place the right hand down onto the floor. Reach the left hand up and overhead. Find height before you tip over towards the right side of the room. Okay, press the floor away by pressing the right palm into the floor. And then let the left fingers kind of drip down towards the floor. Notice if you collapsed into the right ribs. See if you can actually find a little bit of support along the right side of the body. So pressing the right hand down will help you find kind of an activation of the right body half. And then with that support, see if that allows you to kind of find a bit more space, a bit more passive opening between the left ribs. Okay, bring the left hand down to the right knee. Hold onto that knee and just lean away from the right side. Draw a big circle with the right fingers as if you were painting the ceiling. Okay, just dripping that hand down towards the top of the right knee. And so the arms are crossed. Find a C curve, bending the elbows. They won't move a ton, but bending the elbows to reach towards the sides of the room while you reach the back of the heart towards the back of your space. Okay, then you'll just shift forward, move whatever you were sitting on off to the side. Plant the feet onto the floor, bring the hands towards the back of the knees. And then again, just start to roll down the spine slowly, slowly, laying the spine onto the floor. Okay, inhale the arms overhead. Imagine that your block was between your knees. Okay, find this kind of turning on of the inner thigh. Then on your exhale, press the sacrum down, press the soles of the feet down into the floor. From the strength of the legs, reach the fingers overhead, start to curl up, chin drops towards the chest, and then on your inhale, you'll sit high onto the pelvis, reaching the arms overhead. Hands come down, just stack the left ankle over the right knee. Okay, move the right foot closer to the pelvis if you want a deeper hip stretch here. And then just start to shift the legs from side to side. Bringing a little bit of movement, lubrication into the joints of the hips. Press the hands down to reach the chest up, so we're supporting the low back with spinal extension. Keep deepening your breath. Okay, then just cross the legs. Left shin will be in front of the right. Hook the thumbs, left thumb on top, and then reach the arms up and overhead. Then again, see if you can drop the pelvis down into the floor. Pull the thumbs away to reach the fingers up. And so there's these two directions in the body. The lower body is sinking down into the floor. The upper body is lifting itself up and away from the pelvis to create a little bit more space in the torso for the breath. Soften the front ribs into the back of the body. And then keeping the pelvis quiet, just start to turn from the ribs. So twisting the ribs towards the left side of the room. And just release the hands, fingers come down towards the floor. And then just start to turn your head to gaze over the left shoulder. See if that allows you to deepen into the twist. And then left hand comes onto the floor, reach the right arm up. And then just start to reach the fingers up before you bend over towards the left. And then press the floor away with the left, starting to bring a little bit of activation into the left side of the body. So turning on the deep obliques. And see if that engagement, that kind of stability allows for a little bit of opening between the right ribs. Okay, right hand comes down to the outer left knee. And then just hold on to that knee, lean away from it, carve a big circle with the left hand. Imagine you were painting the ceiling to come all the way forward. Okay, left hand grabs onto the right knee. And then just bend the elbows out towards the sides of the room and press into your back body. So finding this C curve, right? Gazing down towards the navel, just letting the head hang. Okay, then let go of your hands. Just cross over the shins and shift forward onto the mat. So knees will come towards the front end of your blanket. Just find a tabletop position here. Wrists are stacked directly under the shoulders and knees are directly under the hips. Okay, soften into the elbows so you're not hyperextending. And then just find a couple rounds of cat-cow. So cow, we're reaching the belly down towards the floor, gazing up towards the ceiling and flaring the sits bones. And then cat, press down through the hands, press down through the shins, reach the back of the heart up, gaze towards the navel. Inhale for cow, just paying attention to this relationship between the head and the tail. And then exhale for cat again, the same relationship but underneath the body. Inhale for cow. And then exhale for cat. Okay, then just come to neutral and start to find kind of a wagging of the tail. The head can follow it from side to side. You can windshield wiper the shins. Just finding this kind of different C curve for the spine, kind of moving on this transverse plane. And so we're kind of mimicking that side bend that we just found sitting, but in a different relationship to gravity. Okay, then find neutral again. We're going to start to kind of map the ribs for the brain. So we'll start to find a kind of clockwise circle for the ribs. So you can bend the elbows, drop the ribs down to the floor, then moving over to the right side, and then pressing up through this kind of cat position, over to the left, and then bending the elbows, kind of moving through a cow. Okay. Use your breath here. I like this image that we're like in a peanut butter jar and we're trying to scrape all of the peanut butter off of the jar. So go slow, take your time. Try to make as big of circles as you possibly can for the ribs. Right? Notice if there's any space where you're kind of cutting corners. And then just reverse that circle. So go the other way. You can let your head kind of be engaged. You don't have to have a fixed stare on the floor. So letting that head be easy and kind of find its own circle as we circle through the ribs. Maybe slowing down at places where it feels like it's a little sticky or there's some stagnancy, and choosing to breathe into that space and really feel the ribs in relationship to the rest of the spine. Okay, then go ahead and tuck the toes. You'll press all the way back to your downward facing dog. And then just take a moment to pedal out the feet, and letting one heel drop down to the floor and then the other. And then just find stillness in your downward facing dog. Okay, go ahead and find some slack in the kind of middle arches. So the big toes will get really light. You'll press down through the pinky edge of the foot, and you'll maybe feel the inner arch start to lift away from the floor. My heels are not on the floor. It's really kind of it's hard to get the heels down in downward dog. So I invite you to stay on the balls of the feet for this. Okay, and then roll towards the big toe. So putting pressure on the inside of the foot, right, the medial arch, and letting the outer arch kind of slack up away from the floor. Again, just roll to the pinky side of the foot, bringing some slack into the medial arch, and then pressing down into the big toe, bringing a little bit of slack into the lateral arch. Okay, then just find your weight kind of evenly distributed between the toes. So press down through the big toe and the pinky toe. And then lift onto the balls of the feet. Start to ripple forward to find plank pose. And soften into the elbows so we're not hyperextending into the joints. Lower the knees, sit back and find child's pose. Inhale forward to plank. Exhale, hike the hips, press back to downward facing dog. Again, like that, inhale, ripple forward to plank. Exhale, lower the knees, shift back for child's pose. Okay, shifting forward, find a tabletop. Knees stacked under hips, wrists under shoulders. And then press down through the right hand and the left shin. You'll start to notice the right shin and the left hand will get a little bit light. Okay, extend the right leg back, come onto the ball of the foot. You can keep the left hand here, or maybe you want to bring it towards the kind of low abdominals or place it onto the back of the sacrum. Okay, reach the right heel back behind you, reach the crown of the head forward, take a deep inhale. And then exhale, find this kind of cat position, drag the knee towards the chest, gaze towards the belly. Okay, inhale, reach the heel away, reach the crown of the head forward. Keep pressing down through the right hand, keeping your weight kind of centered between the leg and the hand. And then exhale, drag the knee towards the chest. Inhale, last one like this, extend the heel back, place the left hand down onto the floor, plant the right toes onto the floor, and then exhale, hug the left knee in towards the chest, start to press down through the hands, reach the back of the heart up towards the ceiling. Okay, lower both knees down towards the floor, and then bring your blocks, or whatever props you're using, your books, onto the mat. Okay, walk them a little bit closer to you, just they're about shoulder width distance apart. And I like to come onto my fingertips, tuck both toes. Okay, start to reach the chest up and draw the shoulders down the back. And then start to tuck the pelvis under. So we're moving towards this C curve, towards this cat spine. Gaze towards the belly, just let the head hang heavy. You'll hopefully feel this stretch across the front of the right hip. And kind of lower the head hangs the deeper I get into this stretch. Okay, untuck the toes, just move the blocks off to the side of the mat, plant the palms onto the floor. Tuck the right foot, press down to the ball of the foot, and then reach the left leg all the way back for a three-legged dog. Okay, so weight is heavy in the right foot and the left hand. Shift forward, hug the left knee in towards the chest on your exhale. Inhale, extend the leg back. And then exhale, just place the ball of the foot down. Take weight into the left foot. You'll feel that transfer of weight into the right hand. Lift the right heel up. And then on your inhale, press back to three-legged dog. Okay, exhale, drag the right knee forward. Weight into the left hand, right hand, left foot. Extend the right leg back. And then lower the foot down. Take weight into the right foot. Feel it transfer to the left hand. Reach the left leg up. And then all the way back for three-legged dog. Okay, lower that foot down to the floor. Ripple forward to find plank. Exhale, lower the knees. Press back to child's pose. Inhale, shift forward to plank. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, ripple forward. Exhale, lower the knees. Sit back for child's pose. Okay, shift forward. Find your tabletop position here. And then press down through the left hand, right shin. You'll feel yourself get a little bit light in the right hand and the left shin. Extend the left leg back, coming onto the ball of the foot. Bring your right hand either onto the belly, maybe laying it onto the sacrum, or leaving it just kind of softening into the mat. Okay, press down like mad through the left hand and the right shin. Start to reach the left heel up into space. Extend the crown of the head forward. So we're finding this spinal extension. Okay, curve and bring the left knee in towards the chest, gazing towards the belly for this cat spine. And then inhale, reach the heel back, crown of the head moves forward. Okay, exhale, curve through the spine. Find this head to tail connection underneath the torso. Inhale, reach the leg back. Okay, plant the foot down. And then place the right hand down onto the floor. Okay, lower the left knee down to the floor. Walk the hands in onto blocks. Tuck the toes. And then maybe come to the fingertips. Start to reach the chest forward. Okay, drag the pelvis forward. So we're kind of tucking the pelvis under and then finding the head reaching down towards the navel. Letting the head just hang heavy. See if you can start to pull the shoulders down the back so we're creating length in the neck. And hopefully you'll feel this stretch across the front of the left hip. Okay, move the blocks off to the side of the mat, plant the palms. Plant the left ball of the foot down and then reach the right heel all the way up for three-legged dog. You take an inhale, press the floor away, kind of heavying down through the finger side of the hands. Exhale, drag the right knee forward towards the chest. Okay, inhale, extend that leg back. Exhale, lower the ball of the foot down. Feel that transfer of weight into the right foot and the left hand. And then inhale, press back to three-legged dog. Okay, exhale, shift forward, left knee comes into chest. Exhale, extend it back. Inhale, press the foot down, transfer the weight into the right hand. Reach all the way back for three-legged dog. Inhale, press the floor away. Exhale, drag the right knee forward into the chest. Inhale, extend the leg back. Exhale, place it down, take weight into the right foot, left hand. Okay, press all the way back to three-legged dog on your inhale. And then exhale, just lower that foot down. Find downward facing dog. Press the floor away. Refirm the fingers into the floor. Come high onto the balls of the feet. Ripple forward to plank. Lower the knees down. Press back to child's pose. Inhale, shift forward to plank. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Inhale the right heel up to three-legged dog. Step the foot forward in between the hands. Lower the left knee. Blocks are there for you if you want to bring them onto the mat to give yourself a little bit of leverage. Untuck the left toes and then drag the chest forward. Find a crescent lunge here. Okay, so we're finding the stretch of the front of the left hip. See if you can pull the right hip back as the left hip comes forward so we're staying nice and square. Then bring the hands towards the nape of the neck. You'll interlace them, making kind of a little pillow for you to lay back on. See if you can lift the chest up to gently rest the head into the support of the hands. Okay, move the blocks off to the side. Bring your hands down onto the floor, tuck the left toes, and then take your weight into the right hand and the left foot. Move all the way back into three-legged dog. Right heel reaches up towards the space behind you. Okay, coming forward, right knee into chest, step the right foot down. Now bend both of the knees and shift your weight back so the pelvis will come to kind of hang heavy in between both of the legs. Tuck the pelvis under. You're going to stand all the way up, dialing down through the feet to help you stabilize. Lift the arms overhead, interlace the fingers, bring them towards the nape of the neck. Okay, pressing down through the right big toe. That's going to really help you ground down here and keep your balance. Stay high on the ball of the back foot. Bend the right knee, shift the torso forward to hover over the right leg. Swim the arms back behind you. Okay, stack the hands on top of the sacrum. Then we're going to play a little bit, shifting our weight forward, pointing the left toe, and then landing back on the ball of the foot. You can do this a couple of times. Noticing how kind of the bones, the thigh bone feeding into the lower leg bones, into the heel bone, right? There's this kind of fulcrum that we're orienting around. See if you can really tether your attention to that bone structure to help you balance. Woo! You might fall over, that's fine too. That's part of the practice, right? And then just step the left foot forward to find chair pose. Swing the arms overhead. Hug the belly in towards the chest. Bring the hands to a prayer. See if you can let the tailbone drop down towards the floor. And then twist over to the left. You'll hug the right elbow onto the outside of the left knee. You see if you can stay super square in the pelvis. So like we did at the beginning of class, of isolating this twist in the ribs. Press the palms together to widen through the chest. And then see if you can tee the arms. Okay, so left hand will reach up towards the ceiling, right arm will reach down towards the floor. And then go ahead and just bend both legs. Bring the hands down towards the floor. Just widen the feet so they're about as wide as the hips, about a fist distance in between the feet. I always have a hard time saying that. And then just let the torso hang super heavy onto the thighs. So we're deeply bending the knees here, right? So we're taking the weight of the upper body into the lower body. And then just start to bounce a little bit. Okay, this might start to bring a bit of effort and warmth into the thighs. I like immediately start cramping. See if you can really use the mobility here, right? This bouncing action and this kind of feeding into the floor to help support you. Okay, then you'll slow that bouncing down, start to bend the knees, you'll tuck the pelvis under and just stack the spine to come to stand. You take a moment here, this is the first time we're feeling this full vertical plane expressed in the body in our practice. Okay, then we're going to bend the knees and kind of go back to where we were. See if you can almost bend the knees as if they were going to buckle and let your thighs catch your upper body, right? So there is this bit of like letting your upper body fall onto the support of the thighs. Again, start to bounce down here. Release any tension you're holding in your neck. It might feel nice to close the eyes. Right? Imagine that this motion was getting you connected to the core of the earth. So there's this kind of relationship that goes below the surface that you're standing on between gravity and your body. Okay, then begin to slow that bouncing down. Just start to tuck the pelvis under, stacking the spine to come again to this standing vertical position. And then second chance to try this, as if the knees were buckling. Can you let the torso fall and the thighs catch the torso? Make it acting like a shelf. Okay, then just plant the palms, step the left foot back to a lunge, right foot back to plank. Lower the knees down to the floor, and then you'll just come all the way down onto your belly. Okay, place the palms on top of each other underneath the forehead, and just kind of wag the hips from side to side. Okay, letting any tension go. See if you can really relax here and just move from the bones. Letting the body be soft, right? Letting gravity really work on your body. Okay, then extend the arms out in front of you. Forehead will come to rest onto the floor. Bring the feet together, legs together. So almost as if you were zipping up your legs into one pant leg. Okay, heavy the pubic bone down onto the floor. So the low belly will start to lift up and away. And then press the soles, that's up, true. Press the tops of the feet down into the floor. Okay, that'll give you a little bit of leverage. And then so you can start to lift the arms away from the floor, chest away from the floor, coming to this pre-locust position. Okay, circle the arms back behind you, plant them next to the ribs, tuck the toes, and then bend the knees, just press all the way back to your downward facing dog. Couple of cycles of breath here. Just letting yourself land in downward facing dog. Pressing the floor away. And lift the left heel up towards the ceiling for three-legged dog. Step the foot in between the hands. Lower the right knee down onto the floor. Okay, bring the blocks onto the mat. If you use them on the first side, just untuck the right toes. You can tent the fingers and then reach the chest up to find this crescent lunge. Okay, seeing if you can start to square the pelvis. So drag the left hip back as the right hip comes forward. Check in with your breathing. Reach the arms up behind you, interlacing them at the nape of the neck. Reach the chest up and see if you can let that lift of the chest be the thing to instigate a back bend. So the head is just laying back gently into the support of the hands while the sternum is reaching up to the space in front of you. Okay, lower the hands down to the floor, just move the blocks. Plant the hands down to the floor, tuck the right toes. Feel this cross-lateral relationship between the right foot and the left hand, and then press all the way back to three-legged dog. Okay, coming forward again, dragging the left knee into the chest, step the foot down, and then bend both knees, shifting your weight back. Okay, all this work that we've done with the feet and the stacking of the bones, press the feet down into the floor, tuck the pelvis, and start to stack the spine on top of that pelvis to come to stand. We're pretty much balancing on a tightrope here, so you might have kind of wobbles in your ankle, that's fine, right? I definitely do. See if you can press down through the big toe of the left foot, reach the hands up and overhead, interlace the fingers again at the nape of the neck. And then, like we found this squeezing onto the block at the beginning of class, see if you can find this relationship of the inner thighs relating to one another, right? So the legs are doing all the work here so that we can find a bit of ease in the upper body. Reach the chest up so you can start to lay the head back into the hands. And then bend the left knee, shift the torso forward to hover over the left thigh. Swim the arms back behind you, stack them on top of the sacrum. Maybe do the left hand on top this time. And then we'll start to shift the weight forward just by pointing the right toe. Ooh. And coming to hover over the left foot. Go slow here. You might notice that it's a bit easier or a bit harder on this side in comparison to the right foot. Right, see if you can start to find this articulation of your skeleton, right, by tracking the thigh bone over the lower leg bones, burrowing down through the heel, through the surface of the earth. Then last time, maybe staying forward and hover, set the right foot next to the left, sweep the arms up, find chair pose. Bring the hands to prayer. Okay, see if you can hug the belly in towards the spine to support the low back. And then just twisting from the ribs, hook the left elbow onto the outside of the right leg, right knee. Press the hands together to widen through the chest, and then tee the arms, reaching the right arm on top, up towards the ceiling, left hand down towards the floor. Okay, let that right hand come down and around. You'll grab onto opposite outer shins, and then see if you can just pull the elbows away. Bend the knees, let the chest rest onto the thighs. Okay, hands come down to the floor. Again, just start to soften into the joints. Bring a little bit of bouncing. An audible exhalation might feel supportive right now to release a little bit of tension. If you're holding any in your throat, and flutter the lips if that feels good. Again, see if you can soften in the thighs, right? Deepen into the crease of the hips, soften through the upper body. And then you'll slow that bouncing down. Just start to stack the spine to stand all the way up. And feeling gravity travel through this plumb line from the top of the skull, down the back of the head, the cervical spine, the thoracic in between the shoulders, the lumbar, through the pelvis, the legs and the feet. And then almost as if your knees were collapsing, can you let the torso fall as you bend the knees and catch the upper body on the shelf of the thigh. Again, coming immediately into a bounce. So you can spread the toes maybe and feel the soles of the feet pressing down into the floor. And tether your awareness there to draw energy up from the earth. And then on your inhale, you'll just tuck the pelvis forward, stacking the spine to stand all the way up. And then again, bending the knees, letting the torso fall, catching yourself with your thighs. Plant the palms, step the right foot back, low lunge, left foot back to meet it. Okay, lower the knees down to the floor, and then just lower the belly down to the floor. Okay, stack your hands, opposite hand on top to come underneath the forehead. Usually it's, when I say opposite second time, it's the one that feels less comfortable to you. Then go ahead and just wag the hips from side to side. Noticing kind of this shift in state as we come down to this deep relaxation of really yielding to gravity. And as we're bouncing, we're kind of yielding to gravity in a different way. There's a bit more effort there. I'm just noticing the shift in awareness, kind of thoughts that are coming up, maybe judgments about, what the place that's a bit more effortful feels like. I'm just taking a moment to really indulge in the softness of the body as you shift from side to side. And then extend the arms out in front of you. Go ahead and bring the feet together, legs together. And finding this pressing down through the tops of the feet, heavy down through the pubic bone, creating a little bit of space underneath the low belly. And then start to lift the arms and chest away from the floor. The back of the neck is long. Try to reach for the front of the room with the crown of the head. And then swim the arms back behind you. Plant the hands next to the ribs. See if you can press the floor away to come up a little bit more. So lots of space between the front of the shoulders and the floor. Reaching the elbows towards one another behind you. Okay, tuck the toes, bend through the knees, press all the way back to downward facing dog. Okay, go ahead and lift the right heel up towards the ceiling, and then step that foot forward, bend both knees. Okay, shift the weight back, and then stacking the spine, maybe moving a little bit more quickly here as you stand up to find this pyramid pose. Hands come to the back of your neck on your exhale. And take your inhale, reach the chest up, lay the head back into the hands. Okay, exhale, shift forward, hands come to stack on top of the sacrum. Then take your inhale to stand on top of the right leg, finding a warrior three. Okay, leg can stay low, or you can start to reach that leg a little bit higher, moving towards a 90-degree angle. Okay, bend the right knee. Find this head to tail position we've been working all class. Hug the left knee in towards the chest. Gaze down towards the right foot. Take your inhale, see if you can ride the inhale all the way up to stand. Find vertical, then place the left foot down, sit back and find chair pose. Woo, it was a mouthful. Hands come to prayer. Okay, twist towards the left. Hook the right elbow onto the outside of the left knee. Now, tee the arms, see if you can deepen into that twist. Press the right elbow into the left knee and resist that action by pressing the left knee into the elbow. Bring the hands back to prayer. Transfer your weight into the right. Okay, see if you can do this. We just found vertical. You're gonna stand all the way up, keeping contact between the elbow and the knee. Okay, then grab onto the outside of the knee, reach the left hand back. And then see if you can widen the left leg into the right hand. So we're creating a little bit of space at the front of the pelvis. Keep twisting towards the left. Keep tethering your mind's eye, right, your awareness to this stacking of the bones, the heel pressing down into the floor, the bones of the lower leg, feeding into the femur, feeding into the pelvis, expressed through the spine and the crown of the head. Okay, big move here. Sweep the arms overhead, thread the left leg back behind you, land in a high lunge. And then drop the hands down to the floor, plant the palms, step the right foot back to plank. Okay, lower all the way down towards the floor. Keep the hands where they are. Pull the mat back, reach the shoulders away from the floor, drag the chest forward. Tuck the toes, press back to downward facing dog. Okay, reach the left heel up towards the ceiling, and then step the foot forward. Bend through both knees, shift the pelvis back. Ride your inhale to stand all the way up, and circle the arms back behind you on your exhale. Press down through the left big toe. Inhale, reach the chest up to lay the head back into the hands. And then exhale, shift forward, circle the arms back behind you, go slow. Stack the hands on top of the sacrum, ride your inhale to stand on top of the left leg. Bend the left knee on your exhale, hug the right knee in towards the chest, and then use that curve to ride your inhale up to stand, find vertical. Step the right foot down, sit back and find chair pose. Okay, hands come to prayer, twist towards the right, hug the left elbow onto the outside of the right knee, and then just shift your weight slightly into the left foot. Again, put your mind's eye onto your heel. Imagine this strong vertical leg as you start to peel the right foot away from the floor to stand all the way up. Grab onto that knee. If you drop the foot, just pick it up again, right? Twist towards the right side, reach the right fingers back. And then open that right leg into the left hand to create a little bit of space at the front of the pelvis. Keep breathing here. Big move, start to thread the right leg back, reach the left, reach both arms forward. Land in a high lunge at the top of the mat. Okay, walk the hands down towards the floor, and then press all the way back to downward facing dog. Ripple forward to plank, and then lower all the way down to the floor. Keep the hands where they are, drag the mat back. Okay, reach the chest forward, lift the shoulders away from the floor as if you were pinching a penny between the shoulder blades. Okay, tuck the toes and then press back, downward facing dog. Okay, shift forward, just bring the right shin down to the floor. We'll set up for pigeon. If you have a blanket here, it could be helpful. Let me just set it up for you. Could be helpful to kind of fold it into thirds. So I'm taking my towel that's in half, folding it in half again, and then folding it into thirds. So we'll bring the right shin down to the floor. You'll walk the left leg back. And then I like to put a little bit of padding under my right hip, just so that I can have a bit of support here and I'm not totally hanging out into the joints. And then you can stay up, or you'll start to walk your hands down towards the floor. Okay, deepen into the kind of more parallel that your shin is to the top of the mat, the harder this is, or the deeper the stretch is, I guess. If you bring your heel of your right leg closer to your groin, you won't go so far deep into the stretch of the hip. So just find a place that's supportive for where you want to work today. It also feel nice to bring a block underneath the head. We'll stay here for about half a minute. Make sure you set yourself up in a position where you can begin to relax into the stretch. Just keep breathing deeply, continuing to find the backs of the ribs expanding on your inhale up towards the ceiling. And then just settling down on your exhale as they contract inward. So noticing any shifts in temperature. Any echoing of sensation in the body. And any new heartbeats that you might feel where there's kind of blood rushing to an area in your body. Just acknowledging that even in this stillness, right, of our structure, there's all of this movement happening on the inside of us. That both can exist at the same time. Okay, then just use your hands to walk yourself up. We'll just switch sides. So use your left toes to shift yourself forward, press back to downward dog, and then you'll just move. If you're using a prop, move the prop over to the other side of the mat. Bring the left shin down towards the floor, and then walk the right toes back. Okay, and then coming to lay down onto the mat. Just taking a moment to really intentionally set yourself up. And then seeing if you can allow yourself to quiet into stillness. You allow your body to receive the support of the earth. I've been working on receiving support a lot lately. I practice giving it pretty well. I'm pretty practiced in that, and I'm always reminded at this point of my practice in yoga that I love receiving support. So it's something I'm trying to bring into my daily practice off my mat as well. And see if you can soften the face. Maybe closing the eyes. Softening this part of the face that holds tension really well, the space between your eyebrows. Just noticing the expansion of the back of the body. This gentle kind of rise and fall. See if you're gripping around the hips, if you can just soften a little bit more into the support of the earth. You can just use your hands to walk yourself up. Just move the block off to the side of the mat. Move the blanket or towel that you're using, and then just bring the right leg around towards the front. You just feet yourself forward. Go ahead and lay all the way down onto your back, and hugging the knees in towards your chest. And just taking a gentle kind of rock from side to side. And then just let the knees fall towards the left. We'll take a gentle twist. You can rest the left hand onto the outer right leg. And then just open the right arm towards the right side of the room and let your gaze fall towards that hand. See if you can invite softening across your whole structure. Maybe closing the eyes to take the focus a little bit deeper in towards yourself. And listening to the signals from the body. And what's your body telling you? How do you feel? It's so important to give the body room, right? To create room by listening. You start to engage the low belly and move the knees through the midline and letting them fall over towards the right side of the room, and then extending the left arm towards the left side of the room. Just noticing if the twist feels different on this side. Again, letting your breath carry your awareness towards the distal ends of the body. Carry your breath far away from you on your inhale. And then letting the breath carry your awareness back to the center of your body on your exhale. And the solar plexus, the center of the will, deep in your core. And engage the low belly, bring the knees back into the midline. We'll just take happy baby as our kind of final posture. So grab onto the outside of the feet, and then just let the soles of the feet reach towards the ceiling. Maybe you can kind of bend into the knees, maybe rocking back and forth. And also just grab onto the ankles if the feet are a little bit too far today. Just gently massaging the low back. See if you can pacify the hip flexors. So really let the weight of the legs kind of bring them closer to the earth as opposed to holding your structure away from the earth. Okay, and then we'll just find Shavasana for a few minutes at the end of class. So extend the legs out in front of you. You can bring a towel or a blanket over the body. A little bit of weight onto the hips might feel good. If you need the blanket for warmth, you can open it up and just lay it over you. Bringing the backs of the arms down onto the floor. And just letting everything fall away from the midline. Maybe tucking the shoulder blades kind of underneath the chest to provide the chest with a little bit of support. Just letting your breath return to its organic state. final moment of relaxation. This final moment of yielding to the support of the earth. And letting the skin soften. The bones soften. Muscles and connective tissues around the bones soften. And the organs get heavier. All the places where you're in contact with the earth soften. So you can relax the throat. Let go of any tension you're holding in your tongue. Let the eyes be heavy in their sockets. And rest. Begin to invite a little bit of movement into the toes and the fingers. Maybe taking a long stretch, reaching the arms overhead. And just bend the knees, placing the soles of the feet onto the floor. And come to lay on the right side of your body. Just taking a moment to release here. And then just press the floor away and come to find a comfortable seated position anywhere on your mat. And placing the hands down onto the knees. Just choose between leaving the palms facing outward, more of an offering position, outward focused posture, or placing the palms face down, taking a more inward focused, contained. And we'll take one final breath to seal our practice together. Take a deep inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth. Thank you. Thanks, y'all.